The yellow faders are used to control the intensity. The buttons below, when you're on the home screen with the rig view showing, are used to flash lights on and off. To control other parameters, you simply tap on the rig view and go to the app screen. If we want to change the colour, we go to Colour Picker and we're into our Colour Picker screen. By simply pushing up a fader for a light, it automatically selects the lights, which is indicated by the light or the LED turning on in the button. You can then slide your finger around on the screen to select a colour. When you're happy, let go. The colour is now selected in those lights, and a colour swatch is automatically created down the right hand side so that you can reuse that colour on another set of lights, such as this pair at the back, simply by pushing the fader up and tapping that colour. When you bring the faders back down again, the lights are deselected. If I now select the next two lights, again I can select a colour for these. When I'm happy, let go, the swatch is created and my colour is in the lights. Again, when I start selecting new lights, because I've already done something with the last one, it unselects them and my last two lights are now selected. Select my colour and I'm finished. If you want more advanced selection of fixtures, you can also tap on the buttons to select and deselect, or you can use the select button to bring up a list of recent selections and reselect them from there, or select none, or even reverse the order. There are other ways to select colours, such as with the Gel app, where we simply tap on the Gels button and we can select from a range of pre-made colours. In the Colour Picker, there are also functions for fine control. So when we get the rough colour we like, we can switch on fine and then move our finger to get very subtle colour control. We can also fan colours. So if I now select my fixtures on the back wall, set them to a colour, turn on a directional fan, and you can do a nice colour rainbow spread. You can also do a symmetrical fan to get a mirrored pattern from the centre out. Turn fans off and you go back to normal colour selection. Advanced users may also like the sliders button that gives you RGB sliders for the control of your lights. As always, pressing the mantra button takes you back one screen at a time, back to the home screen. My last four lights in my rig are moving lights, which means I not only have colour control, but I also have control of the pan and tilt. In this screen here, I can simply move them about using a trackpad arrangement. The centre button allows me to instantly recenter the fixtures, and then, depending on the orientation of the fixtures and how they're laid out, I can use the flip, tilt and pan buttons to change the direction of the motion with my finger to match what the lights are doing on stage. As with colour, we also have fine control. Turning on the fine control gives a much higher resolution control to allow you to get exact positioning of the lights. We also have fan functions, such as a centered fan, which allows us to do spread out and crossover type effects. We have a directional fan, where we can splay the fixtures out from a fixed center point. And a V-shape, which allows us to bring some of the lights down and leave some in position if we have multiple fixtures. You can also lock for just pan and tilt control, so that when you're moving your lights, there's no pan in this mode, or there is pan and tilt to allow finer control. All other attributes are controlled by the Others button. For things like zoom, we have a simple slider control, shutter and strobe type effects. Even things like colour wheels and colour temperature correction are all done with simple movement of the sliders. You also have the option for these parameters to set them to fade or snap. Fading means that when you play it back off a cue, you'll have proportional control of the parameter. If they're set to snap, as soon as the fader gets above 5%, the feature will snap to that value. Once you've used the console for a little while, you'll probably want to record the look that you've got as a memory for easier recall at a later time. Here I've created a simple static look of my lights. To record that or take a photograph of it, I simply press the record button and then any one of the 10 red playback fader buttons. Pressing that creates a Q1 called page 1 memory 1 for me to use later. If I bring the faders back down again, I can now fade up that cue and it works as expected. If I now go and take my lights and do something different with them, and record to position number 2, I now have 2 different cues that I can play back. Q1 and Q2. Each one does slightly different things to the lights. Once you've created a large number of cues, you can play them back in any combination to do different things with your lights on the stage. The playback operates in LTP, or latest takes precedence mode. This is a complex way of saying whatever you do just works. Everything we do in the yellow fixtures is remembered until we clear what we call our live memory. This is simply done by going into the app screen, pressing clear, and the trash can or delete button, which sets everything back to the default values of white and open beam.